मैं आपको कॉल कर रहा हूँ मैं क्लास में तो तुम पक्का कॉल।
I'm so sorry, the internet here, connectivity is so slow. You all can see the screen, correct?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so here we are, 16th chapter, and we did 9 verses in our last class, and today we'll begin the 10th verse. Okay, let's look at a little recap. The title of the chapter is The Divine and the Demoniac Nature. And the first section that we did was Daivi Sampada qualities. Then we did Asura Sampada, demoniac qualities. Then the next section is, which we're in right now, activities of the demoniac and the consequences. Last section, which we'll finish today, is giving up demoniac tendencies and following the scripture. Kindly mute yourself if you're not muted. Lord Krishna lists 26 characteristics of saintly people, qualities that elevate one on the banyan tree and ultimately lead to liberation. So just a recap, you can go through this later when you see the class. So briefly, these are about the demoniac nature. What like they don't know what is to be done, what not to be done. They're unclean, improper behavior, untruthful, like that. And what is their philosophy? They think the world is unreal, with no God in control and no cause other than lust, and thus the world is produced of sex desire. What is their attitude and their engagement? So, attitude, they are lost to themselves, illusioned, and have no intelligence, and they're engaged in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. And we'll begin from the 10th verse. Kamam ashritya dushpuram dambhamana madhanvitaha mohadgrihitva sad grahan prabhitaha. Somebody give me the translation.
Taking shelter of the insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demonic, thus illusioned, are always sown to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. Hare Krishna.
So this is their mentality. They take shelter of unsatiable lust. They're absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, always sworn to unclean work, attracted by impermanent. I am the controller and the enjoyer. I'm perfect and powerful. My enemies are defeated and I'm happy. I am the Lord of everything that I serve. So this is their mentality. So dushpuram kamam, insatiable lust, go on increasing and increasing their insatiable desires for material enjoyment. Asagrahan grihitva, engage in false doctrines and then accepting material objects as all in all. So there's nothing, just earn money, enjoy yourself, go on vacations, eat and be merry. Like this is their talking about the mentality of the demoniac. Prabhupada says, although full of anxieties due to accepting non-permanent things, still engage in such acts under illusion, create their own God, hymns, and chant accordingly. Cannot tell that they're heading the wrong way. And what is the result? Become more and more attracted to two things. One is sex enjoyment, then is accumulation of material wealth. Sridhar Swami says, holding merely through delusion of two foolish obstinacies, like by worshipping such and such deity with such and such mystic syllable, I shall attain immense wealth. Ashuchi vrataha, unclean vows, only attracted by wine, women, gambling, and meat eating. Dambha, they act for being known as religious, even though they are irreligious. Prabhupada says, induced by pride and false prestige, they create some principles of religion which are not approved by the Vedic injunctions. Mana, They proclaim themselves to be worshipable, though they are not worthy of respect. Or the most abominable, by artificial means the world creates a false honor for them. Then Mada, they project themselves the most elevated of persons, though they have no good qualities. Next two verses. Chintam apari meyam cha pralayantam upashitaha kamo babhoga parama etavad iti nishchitaha asha pasha shaterbaddhaha kama krodha parayanaha ihante kama bhogartham anyayenartha sanchayan. Somebody likes to read.
They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until end of their life, their anxiety is immeasurable. Bound by the network of hundreds of thousands of desire and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So here is the attitude and engagement. What is the goal of life? So all of this is from the purport. Goal of life is sense gratification. Do not believe in life after death and signs of karma. Plan of life are never finished. Example, a dying man requesting the physician to prolong his life for 4 years. Performs all kinds of sinful activities unaware of the super soul who's the witness, leads to immeasurable anxieties, network of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger. And engagements, secure money by illegal means for sense gratification, feels free to do anything because of ignorance and faithlessness in Vedic scriptures, unaware of the super soul as the witness. So taking shelter of unlimited thoughts and worries of what they should obtain to the point of death, they're convinced that the goal is only to enjoy sense objects to the utmost. Bound by hundreds of shackles of desire, surrendered to lust and anger, they strive to amass heaps of wealth through illegal means in order to enjoy sense objects. Thoughts of the demoniac, just enjoy, and who has seen the future, do not believe in life after death and in law of karma, never finished with plans for life. Don't believe in the super soul, amass as much money as you can. So all this is about the demoniac, which is still going on. Krishna is still talking about the characteristics, the engagement, and the mentality. Idam madhya maya labdham imam prapse manoratham idam astidam api me bhavishyati punardhanam aso maya hatah shatrur hanishye chaparanapi ishvaroham aham bhogi siddhoham balavan sukhi आध्योऽपि जनवान् अस्मि को न्योत्स्ति सदृशो मया यक्ष्ये दास्यामि मोदिष्या इति अज्ञानं विमोहिताः. Somebody from me can read that.
The demonic person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my scheme. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by the aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I will rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So this is from the purport or these notes. I'm the controller and enjoyer. Indicates false ego which connects spirit to matter. Then I am perfect and powerful. Everything is being done by my potency. Everything will increase also by my potency. My enemies are defeated and I'm happy. So this is how demoniac person thinks, deluded by ignorance. I'm the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. He's my enemy and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I'm the Lord of everything. I'm the enjoyer. I'm perfect, powerful, and happy. I shall perform sacrifices, I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. He doesn't acknowledge karma or Lord's grace, thinks that he has acquired animals, children by the strength of his intelligence. Animals for us in this Kali Yuga is the different kinds of latest cars that we have and gadgets. So earlier days, animals was the opulence from one place to the other. Animals used to take people like horses. By the strength alone, by his strength alone, he will take other desired objects. I have killed this enemy called Yajnadatta by my superior strength. I alone will kill other enemies also. Not even desiring their wives or wealth. So this is how their mentality is. No one except me should live. What is the use of conception of destiny, which is only an imagination of weak people of little understanding? So this is how their understanding is. That I create my own destiny. I alone am God, for I am fully independent. If someone makes a God, let him take me as God, for no one else is available except me. I remember in a lecture I was hearing in our Western world, this person enters the temple and he's looking here and there, and then after some time he tells, I'm very happy with the worship you're doing for me over here. So thinking themselves as, there are some people like this, thinking themselves as God. Let's keep going. So these are all characteristics of demoniac. I myself shall sacrifice, I shall give alms, and I shall rejoice. Thus they think, deluded by ignorance. Deluded by ignorance, they are themselves capable of offering sacrifices, gifts, unaided by the grace of God. There is no conception of grace of God. It's only like me, myself. Okay, so this cuts at the very root of the progress of the world. Just as the planets revolve around the sun, all good qualities in man revolves around the central idea of his faith in God. Other than that, if we don't keep Krishna in the middle, then I'm in the middle, right? Why to have good qualities? Denying God leads to one denying all good qualities like truth, compassion, and non-violence. Why should we speak the truth alone? Why should we not cheat and deceive people if it is going to give us wealth and happiness? If not the sense of sacrifice, which scorns one's own comfort for the good of others, and utter madness. So no sacrifice for others, it's only me who's enjoying. So that's why this is also the quality of Kali Yuga. More and more people are like this, their mentality is demoniac. Man is a machine for a demon, like a radio, for example. He does not show any concern for others' grief, affliction, and oppression. He is not bothered by fear or suspicion regarding the dangerous consequences of his evil deeds in the future life. If he can get something in his life by deceiving others, why should he hesitate to do it? So, whether they believe in God or not, all believe in goodness, morality, and character at least. But these are people who also, that is lacking. What does an atheist do with conscience? The atheist and the undaunted materialist can trample on this culture of conscience. He would not budge to root out and throw away such fine feelings as blind superstitions when they impede his life for pleasure. So such is their his thoughts. If we can enjoy to our full by misdeeds and dishonesty, why should we not enjoy our short life in such happiness? Why should we fall a prey to sentiments like charity, goodness to others, non-violence, and deny ourselves the moments of happiness. Atheism brings in only such arguments to enmesh men and lead them into a path of utter wickedness. Only because godliness and a sense of righteousness are firmly rooted in the mind of man, do we see at least the dim twinkling of honesty and virtue in the otherwise dark atmosphere of deceit and insincerity. And the consequence, the selfish atheist will lead the world to destruction by their horrid deeds. So we'll come to the notes. Nowadays, you can read, I think all of this you can read. So what is the consequence of this demoniac mentality is what is that? And the solution is developing the divine qualities. Ultimately, it just boils down to association. If we associate with the sadhus, then our bad qualities also diminish and good qualities are. There you go. Consequences, the selfish atheist will lead the world to destruction by their horrid deeds. Did I go back? Yeah. So let's go forward. So this is the solution. Devotion to God and faith in God's justice, which punishes the wicked and upholds the righteous, will deter us from stooping to any sinful activity. 16.16 Aneka chitta vibranta moha jala samanvrataha prasaptaha kama bhogeshu patanti narakeshu shucho. Don't have. Somebody can read the translation from their Bhagavad Gita.
Thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into depression.
Thank you, Prabhu. So this is the result of demoniac work, bound by a network of hundreds and thousands of desires and illusion, and there is no limit to their desire to enjoy, always planning to increase the stock of wealth, thinks that all his advancement is due to current endeavor and not because of law of karma or grace of God. Anyone who comes into his competition is his enemy. And this is the result. Perplexed by various anxieties, network of illusions, too strong attachment to sense enjoyment, fall down to hell. Okay. And Prabhupada talks about the qualities of demoniac that make him fall to hell. Unlimited desire to acquire money, hesitate to act in sinful ways, black market or illegal gratification. Enamored by, so they do not hesitate to act in sinful ways. Enamored by possessions like land, family, house, and bank balance, always planning to improve them, don't believe in the law of karma. Whoever is in competition is his enemy, thinks that he can live at others' sacrifice, thinks himself as Supreme Lord, doesn't believe in yajna for elevation. So this is the result. He's gliding to hell. Falls in unclean hell like Vaitarni, filled with blood and pus, being attached to sense objects. Okay. Atma sambhavita stabdha dhana mana madanvitaha yajante nama yagneste dambhena vidhi purvakam.
Self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only, without following any rules or regulations. Hare Krishna.
So these are demoniac preachings. They are envious of God's saintly persons and scriptures. They proudly, again, this is all from the purport. They proudly perform sacrifices in name only without following any rules or regulations. Preach that whatever path one creates is one's own path. There is no standard path. Others concoct their own God. Some preach that God is dead. Others say you are all yourselves God. the superficial performances of the demoniac, impudent due to not believing in any authority, sometimes perform so-called religious rites, perform sacrifices only in name, or it means to gain a name. He's a sacrificer, he's a soma sacrificer, filled with pride and wealth and pride at being respected as a Paramahamsa. Sometimes take the role of preacher. What they do as a preacher, they mislead the people, become known as religious reformers or incarnations of God, make a show of sacrifices or worship demigods or concord their own God. Take the dress of a renounced order of life and engage in all nonsense in that dress. So pretending to be religious for the prosperity of their own house and family. And I always remember that fake guru, my cousin's fake guru, asking for so many things with a big list for the US. So this is what they do. So their own prosperity and their families, their own house and their family's prosperity. And just pretending to be religious. 16.18 Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham cha samshritaha manatma paradeheshu pradvishanto bhasuya kaha.
Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. Hare Krishna.
Real religion. So Prabhupada says, envious nature of the demoniac, what all he's envious of, his own self hates me as Paramatma. So scriptures and the Lord. He hates me since he hates the devotees who have surrendered to me, and he finds fault in the qualities of the devotees. So example is given of Duryodhan, the hypocritical nature and preachings. Demons are envious of God, saintly persons, and scriptures. They are bewildered by their own false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger. They become envious of the Lord who is situated in the heart, in their own bodies, and in the bodies of others. They blaspheme against real religion and are envious of God's saintly persons and scriptures. They commit violence on others and himself, puts forth false arguments to deny God and scriptures, thinks himself independent and powerful, makes plans to cut down any enemy who might stop or check his sensual advancement. What all do they take shelter of? The false ego tells them, I alone do everything independently. I alone am the victor. There is no one equal to me. My desires are greater than all others combined. I will kill my enemy. Tanaham dushyatah kruran samsareshu naradaman Shipami ajasram ashubhan asurishveva yonishu. So I can unmute.
Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demonic species of life. Hare Krishna.
So Prabhupada says in the purport, acknowledging a superior power, placing a soul in a particular body is prerogative of the Lord. So the Lord can decide which soul will go in which body. Even though a demon may not accept Lord's supremacy and acts as per his own whims, his next birth will depend upon the Lord. Next body is received under higher supervision. The many species of life, like birds, animals, etc., are arranged by the superior power, not accidental. Perpetually put into the wombs of the demons, and thus they continue to be envious, the lowest of mankind. Okay, which birth? Prabhupada says many kinds of hunters in the jungle. So these are all demoniac species. They hunt other animals like the tiger. So yeah, this is how they. So one of the questions that we'll get is fate of the demoniac. And here's the answer. They are perpetually cast into various demoniac wombs in the ocean of material existence, attaining repeated birth among demoniac species. Such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. They glide down to hell. So, summary. Next one. Asurim yonim apanna mudha janmani janmani mam aprapayave konteya tato yanti adhamam gatim.
Haribol.
Yeah, now we can hear.
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Attaining among the species of demonic life, O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. Hare Krishna.
So here we find he is never merciful to the demoniac. So Krishna is all merciful, but not to the demoniac. Vedas also say that such persons sink to become dogs and hogs. They fall into still lower conditions like the worms and insects. I was hearing Gaurang Prabhu's lecture where in Vrindavan, one of his Prabhupada's disciple is talking to Prabhupada and he's saying, if somebody is in Vrindavan and he's engaged in illicit sex, what will be the position? So then Prabhupada said, next birth he'll get of a monkey or a pigeon in Vrindavan. Then he said, and Prabhupada, what if somebody is taking intoxication here in Vrindavan? What will happen to such a person? And Prabhupada said something else, coming down in lower species of life. Then Prabhupada, what if, and Prabhupada had to stop him. He said, you're sitting in Vrindavan and this is where your thoughts are going. There's so much, something else you can think about is Krishna and his pastimes. That's where we should meditate on. But yeah, there are people who act in demoniac ways, and Krishna is saying that gradually they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. Supreme Lord has no hatred for anyone. Placing of asuras in lower species is his mercy. Sometimes asuras are killed by the Lord and they are liberated, like Ravana, Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu. God's mercy is shown to the asuras if they're fortunate enough to be killed by Krishna himself. So that's how they get liberated. Those who attain Krishna get liberated. Asuras attain lower birth, not attaining me. So in the form of Kamsa and others, they attained me, Krishna, who appeared as at the end of Dwapar Yuga in the 28th cycle of Vaivaswata Manu's reign. Though hating me, they attain me in the form of liberation. Because I'm an ocean of mercy, I give even such sinful asuras liberation, which is only attained by the perfection of bhakti and jnana. Simply by constantly thinking of him, the enemies of the Lord attain the same supreme truth, whom sages fixed in yoga worship by controlling their breath, mind, and senses. So the yogis or jnana yogis who are always thinking of the Lord as impersonal Brahman, they also get liberation if they ultimately, they have to be connected with bhakti somehow to attain perfection in their own yoga path. But here what is referred to is that even those who are asuras, who are thinking like Kamsa, always used to think of Krishna, but in a hateful way. But because he was killed personally with the personal touch of Krishna, that's how he also got liberation. This widens the scope of my supreme attractive position, which I mentioned previously. So this is Krishna's point of view. He's saying that those who don't attain Krishna, they get lower birth. Inasmuch as those who hate me do not attain me in my form as Krishna, it is clear that they attain the lowest births. So either liberation, if Krishna is showing that supreme mercy that they're getting killed by Krishna's own hands, then they get liberated. But those who are demoniac and but they're the ones who get lower and lower births. Is there any chance for mercy? Use the word eva after aprapya indicates that there is no possibility for them to get mercy. A good birth suitable for practicing, attaining the Lord is very rare. What to speak of this low birth? Those of bad conduct attain lower births such as dogs, hogs, pigs, and chandalas. I think that's what it is. But because you have the quality, having all your desires fulfilled, you can make them qualified, even if they're so unqualified. So by, again, causeless mercy of Krishna or his devotees, these asuric mentality people, if they're given some association and mercy, they can also tread the path of bhakti. Which asuras remain in hell? Anything is possible for the Lord, but though he could do this, he does not have that desire since there is no good reason for him to do that. So this is the mentality of the demoniac. They don't have any good reason to be good to others. So what examples that we can think of, people who were demoniac, but by coming in touch of great devotees of the Lord, their the whole life changed. Can you think of any? Archana Mataji, did you raise your hand?
Yes, Mataji. It was for that Krishna becoming angry in Bhagavad Gita. These are the only two slokas. I heard like that because in 16, 20, Krishna became so much showing his anger toward that demonic people. Aprapya, they will never attain me. And this example of Lord becoming, Lord showing mercy or devotee showing this mercy on such people. Narad Muni to this Brigari, there because of his mercy he became a devotee.
Yeah.
So Lord showing to mercy to a demon. Shishupala Dantavakara, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu.
Anybody else of any examples? I'm so sorry, I don't know if it's lagging. I'm hearing in breaks.
Yeah, example. Don't remember much more than that.
Okay, then let's keep moving. Which asuras get liberation? Those who become demons and kings, obedient to demons by a curse. Those showing externally hatred to the visible forms of Vishnu, like Vamana, Narsimha, and Varaha, regarding them as enemies. They are internally followers of the Vedic path. They consider him to be the Supreme Lord, the controller of all. Being killed by Vamana and other incarnations, they give up the bodies of asuras. So this is the mercy of the Lord when they are killed personally by the Lord's touch, personal touch, then they get liberated. They come out of the bodies of asuras. Those killed by Krishna attain liberation. These persons are not opposers of the Vedas. So even Kamsa, Kamsa and who else? Ravana, they were great. He was great Brahmana, right? Ravana had new Shastra and used to worship Lord Shiva also. So one is the fate of demoniac. They glide down to hell. They will never attain me by any means. What is the hope for them? Because God is supposed to be all merciful. So we did all of this, such as notes. And come to the next presentation, starting from the 21st verse. So here's the last 4 verses in this chapter. The 3 gates leading to soul's degradation are lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, act for purification, and attain the supreme destination. In the next 2 verses, to obtain that supreme destination, one's activities should all be in accord with Shastra. 21st verse. Trividham narakasyetam dwaram nashanam atmanah kamakrutastatha lobhas tasmad etatrayam tyajet. Who has not read yet, you can unmute and read the translation, please.
There are 3 gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. Hare Krishna.
So LAG, this is the acronym given, beginning of demoniac life. L is lust, A is anger, G is greed. These 3 can make one lag to such an extent there is no possibility of liberation. Sane man, not wanting to glide to hell, should give up these 3. So in pictures you can see 3 gates that lead to hell: anger, lust, and greed. Next verse. Etirvimuktaha kaunteya tamodware stribhirnaraha acharatya mana shreyas tato yati param gatim.
The man who has escaped these 3 gates of hell, lust, anger, and greed, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. Bhagavad Gita 16:22. Hare Krishna.
So this is Krishna is talking about how a man who gets away from these 3 gates, escaped these 3 gates, which are lust, anger, and greed, and they perform acts which are conducive to self-realization, thus gradually attain the supreme destination. So freedom from lust, anger, and greed makes one purer. One can then follow Vedic rules and regulations based on giving up lust, anger, and greed, follow according to one's varnashrama, rise to spiritual realization, platform of Krishna consciousness, devotional service, then again rise to that platform of bhakti, and then there is guaranteed success. Ya shastra vidhim utsrijya vartate kamakarataha nasa siddhim avapnoti nasukham na param gatim.
He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhupada says in the purport, only in association of pure devotees can the words of the Lord Krishna be fully potent and relishable to the heart and ear. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Okay, so not following Shastra Vidhi as per Varnashram, acting whimsically under lust, gets one to a stage where there is no perfection at all. In what all ways one degrades himself or oneself, no application. If one only theoretically knows things but doesn't apply, no understanding, he follows rules and regulations but doesn't come to understanding the Lord. No service, he understands the Supreme Lord but doesn't engage himself in Lord's service. So these can be 3 ways in which a person can degrade himself. Also one of our homework questions, which will come in the exam. Solution is gradually raise oneself to Krishna consciousness. That's the only solution. So kama karataha, sinning deliberately. One who knowingly violates the rules, acts in lust, whimsical behavior, knows what is to be done, still doesn't do the right thing. What is the result? Destined to be condemned by the Lord. No purification and perfection of human existence, no real happiness. And Ramanujacharya says he does not reach any siddhi in the next world, nor does he find the slightest happiness in this world, let alone the attainment of the supreme state. And then the last verse, Tasmat cha shastram paramanam te karya vyapastito jnatva shastra vidhanakto noktam karma kartum iharasi. Somebody can read the translation.
One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. Hare Krishna.
So this is the solution that Krishna is giving.
Okay.
One engaged in Krishna consciousness is at the perfect stage. Vedas are meant for knowing Krishna. So one who knows Krishna from Bhagavad Gita and is engaging in devotional service to Krishna, he attains the highest perfection and studies by studying all the Vedas. So what does it mean to be engaged in Krishna consciousness? Lord Chaitanya says, ask people to simply chant the Hare Krishna mantra, eat the remnants offered to the deities. What about those not in Krishna consciousness? They should act according to Shastra, what is to be done and what is not to be. Positive and negative injunctions. The scriptures are stated in the potential mood, you should do this. What has to be done according to the Vedas, at least people should do that and not engage in sinful deeds. Is Shastra free from all defects? Yes, it is free from the 4 defects. And what are they? Imperfect senses, cheating, committing mistakes, certainty of being illusion. So, and then the 4 defects disqualify a conditioned soul for putting forth rules and regulations. So Shastras are free from these 4 defects, and people who follow the Shastras also can come out of that conditioned state. Who all accept the Shastras? Shastras are accepted by all acharyas, the great souls, without adulteration. Both impersonalists and personalists lead their lives according to the principles of the Vedas. Knowing about the prescribed and forbidden actions, you, Arjuna, should perform prescribed actions such as fighting and sacrifices in this world of karma, for teaching people avoiding the forbidden action. Which all Shastras to accept? Ramanujacharya, according to him, the Dharma Shastras are to be accepted, the Itihasas and the Puranas. The acts enjoined by them are the means for reaching him and for pleasing him. You should perform them, you should accept them alone. And Prabhupada says, problems with modern human society, aversion to principles of understanding the Lord leads to fall down, greatest offense. So much trouble by Maya through the 3-fold miseries. So it's notes in the purport also. Prabhupada says, all the rules and regulations of the Vedas are meant for knowing Krishna. We end there. There was a story of Ajamil over here, which we've seen and heard so many times, so we won't get into that. But we can take some discussion or any questions at this point.